5 years ago. And when he did this the time before, it was because he didn't like me and he was mad before. I can create whatever I want. I have a choice. But I choose to back myself out of it and focus on what I love about him. And as you do that, as you start to focus on what you love about your partner, something amazing happens. You find more. And you see more. And then there's more. And then it gets better and better. And then you're having sex all the time.
And your back goes out.
Sorry, baby.
I like the chance.
Good job. But it really is that simple. And I know it sounds simple, but it's science. We're all energy. And we're literally attracting from each other whatever we're focused on. And if I'm focused on what I don't like about him, I'm going to get that all day, every day.
Yeah.
But if I'm focused on what I love about him, that's what I'm going to get. And he does the same thing with me. Anthony tells people all the time, she could be the craziest chick in the world, and I don't know it because all I could see is the beauty in her and how much I love about her.
We're consciously creating it. And she's absolutely right. So now, you notice she said she focused on the things she appreciates about me when we get upset with each other. Even when we're not upset with each other, we constantly focus on the things we appreciate about each other. Because something funny happens when you focus on things you appreciate. When you focus on the things you appreciate about somebody, your brain gives you a dopamine fix. Your brain rewards you. It feels good. That dopamine is the same thing that made you fall in love in the first place. The limerence chemicals, that was dopamine. That was one of the chemicals. So the more, every time I focus, I don't even have to tell her. Once you get into the habit of it, and I just focus, I love this about her. I love that about her. Subconsciously, I'm getting high. Which then, the reticular activation system, the thermostat gets set there, then the reticular activation system goes, look at this she did. Look over here she's doing. Look over here, look over here. All of a sudden, everything I see about her, oh my God, I love that about her, I love that about her. And the things that irritate me, they get filtered out. They may still be there, but does it matter? Really? No, because it's not irritating me anymore. Love is blind. Love is blind. And so, the key is to focus on the things you appreciate about your partner all day as much as possible. Express it to them over and over again. They did a study, and they found that couples, the average couple that gets divorced or in an unhappy relationship, for every criticism, there's 0 to 1. 0 to 1, you're right. So they criticize, but they don't compliment. Couples that do 1 to 5, for every criticism, there's 5 praises. Those couples did really good in relationships. We do, on average, ours is about, honestly, about 50 to 1. 50 to 1. All day long, we're going around, our house is like this with our daughter. Love you, baby. Love you too. Love your hair. Love that. Love your smile. Love that. Love that. Love this. Love that. Love that. We're constantly telling each other. Then we don't even have to think about it because our thermostat gets set there and it's automatic pilot. Then people go, how are you still in love after all these years? We kept those chemicals going because we're consciously doing it. You have to consciously create it. You can't just show up and be like, it'll just work itself out. And so that is the key to building a great relationship and keeping it getting better and better and better. And I shit you not when I tell you this.
There's a curse in you.
I literally fall more and more in love with this lady every week. Every 2 weeks. We say it, we literally feel it. We'll be doing something that's like, you feel that? Oh, I feel that too. I'm deeper in love. I'm more in love with you than I was last week. You can feel it. And so that's what we believe we were all intended to do naturally when we came together. But society never taught us this.
That's right.
They just taught us like the movies and you just show up and it works out. No, you have to consciously create it. And so, how much more time do we have? We're pretty much wrapped up.
Our host popped out, so I'm gonna just keep going. You know me, we will talk all day if they let us.
Yeah.
We have
Much time.
10 minutes. Okay, perfect.
You know what? Let's talk about something.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so that's the first part. The relationships focusing on things to appreciate. All day, every day. All day, every day. And other people start. Okay.
I want to say it takes a little bit of vulnerability. And I want to tell you guys.
I'm not sure what you said there.
I said vulnerability.
my mind. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We like that. We like that. We go with it. It takes a little vulnerability, and here's the thing about vulnerability. Everybody avoids it, but it is the key to connection. You cannot connect to anyone who does not make themselves vulnerable. And you have to be able to make yourself vulnerable to say to your partner, you have the cutest baby butt I've ever seen. Or I love you. Or you're wonderful. Or thank you. Like, we're not taught to just naturally give that. We're waiting all the time for someone to give it to us, and then we'll give it to them. We have to make ourselves vulnerable. And ladies, I'm just going to put it on you. You got to do it first. Because you are the goddess energy. You're the feminine energy. And when we create that example of loving energy for our men, they follow our example. We want them to lead us, but we're leaders too. And we have to show up with that loving, kind energy, and then it creates a safe space for them to do it for us. Think about this. What are little boys taught? Don't cry. Don't show your emotion. Don't talk about how you feel. And then we get married and we're like, how do you feel? I feel like you're asking me too many goddamn questions. That's what I feel. Because no one ever taught them how to talk about their feelings. So we have to be that example and share how we feel and show them by example. And then and not force them to do it. Just be the example and don't say you're not doing it. Just keep doing it, and eventually they'll come along when they're ready. But we have to do it first. Really quick before he jumps into fighting to grow. Have you guys seen my big fat Greek wedding? This is for you ladies. Yes. I love when the mother says, the man is the head, he leads. My husband leads. He's the lead in our relationship, but I'm the neck. And I can turn the head anywhere I want. Right? But we're on the same page and we're going in the same direction. So I'm never turning him anywhere he doesn't want to go, because we've agreed we're going the same place together. So I just want to tell you, ladies, you have a lot of power. Don't wait for your man to do it. Be the example of it. Okay, baby, go. Fight it.
Okay, so we'll just give quick information before we get out of here. Okay, so we talked about the appreciation part. That's how to grow your love. That's great, right? But what happens when you get into conflict? Because it's going to happen. There's no way around that. Here's how you deal with that. It's the formula. Let's look at it like this. You're here, right? Your goal is to be here in a relationship. This bar will always increase. Our goal in our relationship is to fall as madly in love with each other as possible, to be as happy as possible. So it always grows. We never reach that bar because it keeps moving and we'll get there. So we're here. Our goal is to get there. How are we going to get there? To go there, we got to grow there. To go here, we got to grow here. So, conflicts and fights, that's an opportunity for us to grow there. When we get into it, we get into conflicts, what we call passionate debates. Our passionate debates, because of our formula, we're not fighting to win, we're fighting to grow. So when we get into it, I know we get into it, boom, we're upset. Right away, we both know the rules. We're supposed to be fighting to win, to grow, not fighting to win. So if you're fighting to win, you need to check yourself, go take a time out, and come back until you can change your perspective. But this is an opportunity for us to grow and get closer. So the way it works is that in most subjects, we're like two sports cars driving down the road in synchronicity, perfect harmony, it's great. But every now and then, boom, you move. Boom, no, you move. You move. Now, we can do that until we break the relationship down. But what we do is to go, okay, at that point, we take a time out. This is the time to understand each other and ourselves. What happens when couples, when anybody feels like they have to defend their perspective, we become narrow-minded, literally. We go into survival mode. The human body goes into crisis mode. Literally the same as if you were walking in the jungle, you saw a lion, freeze, flight, or fight. This part of your brain, the old brain, primitive brain, is going to start working. The intuition, the ability to be rational, memory, those parts of your brain will literally shut down because you're going into fight mode. At that point, your brain is only going defend, fight, defend, fight. And the more that person tries to convince you and change your mind, the more you double down. That's how the brain works. Then if you keep pushing against it, they're going to go find other people that agree with them and build an army. See, my sister said, my mother said, my friend said.
Evidence.
And so,
I'm right.
and they're not going to make sense. It could be stuff that they just said yesterday that they're going to be like, no, I didn't say that. They literally won't remember. You'll be sitting there going, what? 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 What?
Just said that.
Yeah. And they will not remember. That was good.
I know.
So, what happens is that they're not doing it intentionally. Their brain became narrow-minded. Now, while they're in that state, there's no getting through to your partner. None. You're wasting your time. The key is to back away, let them calm down. Then, the brain will become functional again once that partner feels they're being understood. Once they feel like you're putting yourself in their shoes and you're listening, not, yeah, I'm listening, not the faces or the comments while they're talking. Literally, I want to know that you understand where I'm coming from. So it'll start like, well, I feel like this because of this and this and that, and you just listen. Okay. And the more that you listen, the more the brain starts to go back to normal. The more they'll calm down, the more receptive they'll be. Then they'll go, so that's why I feel like that. So why do you feel like the way why'd you do what you did? That's when the communication can start. But the whole, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. Narrow-minded. Calm down. Realize that this is an opportunity to grow. To go there, you got to grow there. And you're not fighting to win, you're fighting to grow. So if you use those elements, what happens is that at the end, that conflict, because now I explained to her why I thought like that, she's getting to understand my past. I'm getting to look and reflect on my own past as well. Like, oh, that's why I did that, because my mother did that. It didn't work for her. And so why am I doing that? I don't have to do it that way. I just grew. And she just was a part of that growth. Then she turns around and goes, it's on your side.
No, I'm just kidding. He's absolutely right. It really is, a big part of it is knowing that there's a reason your partner thinks the way they think. It's coming from somewhere. It's not a personal attack. So when you're asking the questions like he said, like, why do you feel that way? Where did this come from? Did your parents do this? When you start asking those questions, what happens is they see themselves. And they're like, wow, I'm actually doing something and I have beliefs about stuff that I don't necessarily really believe. Or not mine, or I didn't choose for myself. And so that's how you grow. Like I said earlier, we're seeing ourselves through our partner. And so these conflicts that we get in help us to see those aspects of ourselves. So Anthony and I, we're both very strong, very powerful people, but we're different. We grew up differently. He grew up in New York. I grew up in California. I'm biracial, so I grew up with white people, so I do things a little bit differently. He's like, what are you doing that for? That's how my mom did it. So when we have conflict, that's what we're discovering. We're discovering, like, where did that start for you? Why do you feel that way? When did it first happen for you? And as he's asking me those questions, I'm discovering for myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I may decide, I want to keep this. Yeah, this is my belief and this is how I feel about it, and I feel very strongly about it. And at that point, he has to make a decision to say, okay, that's your perspective, and you're entitled to it. We, as couples, we don't have to agree all of the time.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes.
We're two different people.
Right.
There's no way that I could be Anthony, and there's no way that Anthony can be me. And a big part of the problem in a relationship is when we try to parent each other. We have made a vow, we don't tell each other what to do. I don't tell him what to do. When we get into it, you know what that is usually? Me trying to tell him what to do. And I'm like, Melanie, stop telling Anthony what to do. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what you'd like. Tell him what makes you happy. But don't tell him what to do. He doesn't want a mother. He wants a wife. And so I've learned that and grown through all of our conflict. Through all of our passionate debates. I've learned that about him.
Yeah.
He's learned about me. I don't like to be pushed. I grew up in foster care. I grew up with a parent that was a drug addict. I was really insecure as a kid. I didn't feel loved. I need a lot of love and affection. I need him to tell me how he feels. I need him to tell me that it's okay. When he's upset, I need him to say, I'm going through something. I'm just upset. It's not about you, Melanie. I need that. We discovered that by fighting. See how that works?
Yeah.
That's how we learned about each other. When we first got together, I would cry. Anthony would leave. He'd be like, "Oh, she's crying."
well, my house where I grew up, people get emotional, they want privacy, so you leave them alone.
I was like, no. In my family, when I cry, my sister would woo-woo me. She would put her hands around me and she'd hug me and say, woo-woo, woo-woo, it's okay. I need you to woo-woo me. He's like, I don't know how to woo-woo. Well, let me show you. So he'd hug me and he'd do this, you guys. The first time he did it, he went like this. Woo. Woo, woo. I just laughed. I was like, you don't ever have to woo me again. He's a great woo-wooer now. And he didn't know. He's not a mind reader. They're not mind readers. I have to tell him everything. And that's what the conflict is, you guys. The conflict is opportunity to understand each other. Did you have a question about that?
No, I was saying, say that again. We are not mind readers.
We are not, they are not mind readers. And I don't know who gave this message out to women that if a man really loves you, he'll read your mind. He cannot do it. He cannot. No matter how much he loves you, he cannot do it. You have got to tell him. And men focus differently than we do as women. We're like, let me take care of all of this at the same time, all at the same time while I love you.
Yeah, exactly.
And men are like, I'm doing this thing. I'm doing this thing. I'm doing this thing. I'm doing this. What? I'm doing this thing. And so we cannot expect them, single focused, to be multi-focused like we are. And we get very frustrated with them because they don't do it, but they're separate. They're separate than we are. So let's do a wrap up for them. Fight to grow.
Fight to grow.
Focus on the things you appreciate about each other.
Talk about it all the time. Remember 1 to 5 ratio, at least 5.
If you
can do more than
criticize,
5.
praise 5 times. And create a story. Create the story of your love. Don't wait for it to happen. Quit waiting for it to unfold. Create it. This is our love, and this is what it's like.
And I'd also recommend to write down a list of all the things you love and appreciate about your partner, no matter how big or small. And even exchange that list with your partner so your partner can see that, because a lot of stuff that we appreciate, we don't talk about. But when we feel appreciated, when you appreciate somebody, not only does it benefit the person that's doing it, that's getting it, but the person that's giving it as well. Get the same dopamine fix and the benefits from it.
And one more thing, I really recommend, we recommend this for our couples, do a marriage journal where you write down the things that your partner is doing that you love, so that they can go to it and look at it and see what they're doing that you love, and you can go see it for them. And when you're feeling like, they're not doing it, you can go look in your journal and go, yes, they are. Because your brain is lying to you. You're only filtering in what you've been focused on. And if you've been telling yourself, my partner's not doing it, you're going to keep seeing that story. So you have to create a new story that they are doing it. So write it down and share it with each other. I wrote in the journal about you today. I'm read what I said about you. You're just doing it.
I like that.
And you're back to now.
So that's the perfect segue to, because we're done now. But here's something else that's very important. It's a simple one that everybody can do, but we want to leave you with. It's very important to kiss.
Oh, yeah.
Tongue kiss. Very important. When you do that, there's chemicals that we have in our bodies that bond us. And the more that we share those those chemicals, the more we'll be bonded. So when we're at home, I always say like, baby, these chemicals. Chill. Kiss. So kiss, share chemicals, and we're done for the day.
Yeah, wait, I want to say one more thing, and your babies are watching you.
Yeah.
So make your love beautiful, because your babies are learning how to love by watching you.
You said no.
Can we practice that kiss now?
Thank you so much.
Kisses are free.
Before we let you guys go, does anyone have any questions for the amazing class? That was good.
Got it.
All right.
I got it.